A Toronto homeless advocate is sounding the alarms over a steep rise in deaths that are happening in the city's shelter system and on the streets. According to Toronto Public Health, the number of deaths among people who are unhoused has nearly doubled in the last 3 years.
We're now on track to do about 200 deaths again this year.
Gru has been living in a downtown shelter for the last 17 months, but has been unhoused for nearly a decade. He spends a lot of his time advocating for himself and on behalf of the nearly 10,000 people in Toronto who are also experiencing homelessness.
I figured I can live out of a tent for a couple of months, build up enough money to do first and last and furnish a place and everything else, and 9 years later.
One thing Gru has noticed is a shift in shelters and on the streets. In the last 2 years, he knew at least 5 people who passed away.
The news travels relatively fast because there's this massive community.
And according to city data, there has been a big spike in the number of unhoused people dying. In 2019, there were 128 deaths, followed by 144 in 2020. And then last year, that number rose to 221. In the last 6 months, 92 people have died. More than half were due to drug toxicity.
People are using in order to survive their day-to-day struggle. And then finding that what they are using, the substances that they are using, are not what they anticipated.
Toronto Public Health tells CityNews it has integrated harm reduction into city shelters and expanded intensive mental health case management supports to 12 shelter hotels. And it will continue to advocate for the expansion of these critical services. But Gru says the drug poisoning crisis is just a piece of the puzzle. He believes the red-hot rental market and affordable housing crisis is creating a wave of poverty. He also believes the city's decision to clear out the encampments has pushed more people into isolation.
I'm not saying that encampments are an ideal place for anybody to live in, but what I am saying is that people found a sense of community there, that we were then able, in those spaces, to keep each other alive.
As we head into a new era at City Hall with the election campaign in full swing, Gru is calling on the next group of leaders to really take the time to consult with people who are experiencing homelessness to help get a handle on this crisis. Shauna Hunt, City News.